Yo, what's good, everybody? It is your boy Tony the Savant. We are here for the 17th episode of this lowly show I've started here, man. I got a special guest joining us today, Mr. Albert Flores, better known as Flo from the Bottom Line Sports. How you doing today, big bro?
Yo, what's going on, Big Tony? Tony the Savant, man. What's up, man? Appreciate you having me on the show.
Hey, yes, sir. I appreciate you coming along, man.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, man, to let the people know where they can find you on the plugs and what good, all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So if you see it brought above me, the Bottom Line Sports, where you can find us. These are our guys right here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like that.
That's me, Can, Omar, and Hot Take Jake. So
Hmm.
that's all four of us. We make up the Bottom Line Sports. I converted a Canteen into a Cowboy fan. He says I tricked him, but I don't know about that. So, but anyway, so yeah, uh, Hot Take Jake's a Bronco fan, and Omar's the sports professor. He's a Raiders fan, unfortunately for him. But
Unfortunately.
yeah, you can find us at the Bottom Line Sports on all your platforms. Our biggest following right now is on Facebook. We got about 1,625 members on the Facebook group. So I appreciate all those members, and I might try and stream it over there if I can, if you have that opened up.
Oh yeah. Now I ain't too hip. I'm still learning this StreamYard stuff.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah. So if and like I said, I'm sorry, we ain't get enough time. That's just on me, fellas.
okay,
Dad life be everything be by the minute on the second. Uh,
right,
but
right,
uh, but yeah, we could definitely set that up because I would love to,
yeah.
post
Just
stream
share
it
it over
with.
there. Yeah,
Mhm.
no worries, no worries. I might just share it from the Facebook. This is you're coming on Facebook too?
Yes, we're on Facebook,
Okay.
YouTube, and Twitter.
Okay. I might just share it over. But the Bottom Line Sports, we have a YouTube channel. We have a X, or Twitter as it used to be called. Ball and Buds. We also stream on his Ball and Buds, and then also on Lex Talk Sports. And well, that channel as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, big fan
Yep.
of all those
Yep.
platforms. And shout out to Ken, Omar, and probably my favorite of the three is Jake, man. We got
Hot take Jake, man.
I take Jake, man.
Hey, hey, I heard the other day he's got Lakers in 13. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. That's what I
Hey,
heard. That's the
I told
rumor.
him I told him year 22, man. That's LeBron's year. It's gonna be LeBron's year. Year 22.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
man.
make history.
Hey, it wouldn't be the same without Hot Take Jake in his takes, man. That's why I call them hot take, because they sometimes they burn you, sometimes they're actually good takes. It's
Yeah,
just you
that's a
never know.
fact.
You
Yeah.
never know
I
what's
mean,
gonna come out of his mouth. So
and that's why we love him, man.
yeah.
But if you don't mind, we're going to get right into the show as we got a couple of topics I wanted to get your expertise and opinions on.
Ooh.
Uh, got some interesting things going on in the basketball world right now. It's a number of things, really. I've been kind of caught up in the headlines. But for one, we got the Boston Celtics, the only team really right now waiting in the conference
Right.
finals. We got
Mhm.
two game sevens, one from the defending champions, of course, and uh, those rowdy Minnesota Timberwolves is how I like to describe them right now. And of course, we got the Eastern Conference matchup, the Knicks and the Pacers after last night's um, uh, bloodbath. I like to think of it,
Right, exactly.
and then today, actually, in a couple hours, hour or so, we get the Dallas Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just
Mhm.
because that's today's game on the slate, what's been your take on the Dallas and the Thunder series so far, Big Bro?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is kind of surprises, they've been I mean, I kind of thought they could do well, right? Kyrie and Luca had finally started kind of mesh. At first, it was a little last year for sure. It was kind of awkward. It wasn't. It didn't really feel like they were meshing. They had that chemistry. And now it feels like they kind of know their role. Luca's a little injured, so I'm a little worried about that. He needs. Maybe he can fight through it. A lot of people fight through injury. It just depends. But yeah, I mean, I think I feel like they play. What time they play tonight? They play tonight.
I'm in these mountains, so it's 5 o'clock my time, but it's supposed to be 6 o'clock Central or
Right.
Eastern. So it's
Right.
about. I think the game is just starting. Not to
Just
catch it on
starting.
you. No. Actually, it's
Yeah.
in another hour. Yeah, 6 o'clock
Oh,
Mountain
okay.
Time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it'll be 7 6.
I felt like the Thunder were gonna extend this to game 7. I feel we're gonna have a lot of game 7s. We had the Knicks. getting extended to Game 7. We have the Nuggets and so I thought this one would go another Game 7. Unlike the Celtics, who've had an easy road with all kinds of injuries, I feel like the Thunder are going to extend this to 7. They're a young team. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks close them out. It just depends. I just feel like I don't know how healthy Luka is, and that's the only thing. And he's looked a little sluggish the last few games, and so I don't know if he can fight that off. And I don't know how they manage that. Therapy they've given him to try and get through that injury, but I feel like the Thunder are going to extend this to 7. It's been a pretty fun series. I thought the Thunder would win this series, but now I don't know, just because the Mavericks have actually been playing a lot better defense as the playoffs have gone on. That's been one of their knocks, that they don't play good defense. But towards the end of the year, they made those trades in the second half of the season, and they played a lot better defense, team defense especially. Even Luka's played better defense. Kyrie, the only thing is worrying me is that he's only taking about 10, 12 shots a game, which he's going to have to up that up, especially if Luka is not 100%. So that's kind of what I see. It depends on, Kyrie and Luka is the key. I mean, if they're not scoring, if Kyrie's kind of tentative, I don't know if he's saving himself, for later on, trying to save himself a little bit. But this is it right now. I mean, if they can close out the Thunder, man, they can get a little bit of rest and get ready for the Western Conference Finals.
I like that take. I love that take. And now I'm of the same breath. I think that Kyrie and Luka are the key to this whole thing. I'm getting concerned about Luka. I have some. Let me ask first, bro. Are you a Mavericks fan? Because I know you're a Cowboys man. So
I'm actually a Spurs fan. I don't mind the Mavericks. There's no hate relationship there. I don't mind if they win.
I respect that.
But yeah, I'm a big Spurs fan. Go Spurs, go. That's how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I like the Mavericks. They're kind of like my other Texas team. Like I really don't have two Texas teams in football, but in basketball, I still root for the Mavericks if they're doing well.
Yeah,
unless they're going against my Spurs, but yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm a pseudo Mavericks fan, but I don't necessarily, root for them. I just watch basketball, So, but I'm a big Spurs fan. That's where I'm at. That's where my heart's at.
I love that. I mean, respectfully, especially as long as you didn't say something crazy like you're a Lakers fan, I would have been like, "Oh, come on,
oh man,
that's unexplainable now."
To be fair, I did. I didn't say I was a fan, but when Magic was there, I did like the Lakers a little bit just because of Magic. But I wasn't necessarily a Lakers fan. But yeah, I did follow him. Well, but I'm not a Lakers fan for sure.
I'm starting to be a little concerned for these Mavericks because I said the other day, like, man, I'm not sure after that. What was it? Not Game 6 or it was in Game 5 where they only hit about 10 of their 21 free throws. Essentially, just coughed that game up. Right. I said that this game should have been the series should have been at least a sweep for the Mavericks, at least 5-1.
Wow.
Because we're talking about a championship caliber guy in Kyrie and a supposedly championship caliber guy in Luka. And these guys, the Thunder, are still young. I mean, as talented as they are, this is I think this moment should have been bigger for them, bigger than bigger. You know what I mean? The moment should have been bigger than too big for them to handle with these two juggernaut players. But do you think the Mavericks can get it done with Luka at the helm?
I mean, they made it to the Western Conference Final. Remember, a couple years ago with Brunson and Luka.
Yeah,
and Brunson's gone on to kind of on his own and doing great things with the Knicks. But I feel like Luka, if he wasn't injured, I feel like this would be a little bit tougher series for the Thunder. And maybe they finish it up in 6 or maybe 5, like you said. I just think Luka's injury has really hampered them, and it's going to be tough for them to close this out if Luka's not 100%. And if Kyrie's, I don't know why he's tentative. He's not shooting. He's only shooting, if you look at his shots, maybe 10, 11, 12 shots. He needs to be putting them about 18 or 19 and make up that difference that Luka hasn't been able to do, because of his injury. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Like that.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the ball, as far as today's game, these young Thunder have been shocking everybody. I don't think anybody really had them at the beginning of the season, being the number 1 seed. And they only won, I think, 40 games last year, upped it up to about, I can't tell you, I think 56 this year. So did they surprise you as far as just being a basketball fan? Did you see this coming? Or?
Well, I mean, if I don't know if you know Alan from the Let's Talk Sports.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big Oklahoma fan. Well, he's a Sooners fan, but he's also a Thunder fan,
Okay.
and he's from Oklahoma. But yeah, he was saying that they're going to be a good team this year. I thought they could be a good team. They
Mm-hmm.
did surprise me that they're this good, that they were
Mm-hmm.
the number 1 seed. I thought they would be in that top 3 or 4. They had a lot of young talent. SGA is really coming to his own
Yeah.
as a player. You know, I think he was runner up for MVP. A lot of people thought he should have won this year, but I mean, they did surprise me a little bit though, because I didn't expect them to be the number 1 seed. And the other thing, if you look at most of these, when you look at these teams that go deep into the playoffs, you always got that number 1 guy, which you have SGA, but he doesn't really have a number 2. He doesn't have his Scottie Pippen or his Robin or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. You know, he doesn't have that second guy that come along with him. So I really applaud him for going this far without that second guy that he doesn't really have. I mean, maybe you think he has a second guy. Maybe I guess you can consider Chet maybe that second guy, or he could become that guy. I don't know, but he really doesn't have that for sure number 2 guy that his Robin, to his Batman.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chet is coming along. I mean, he was the number 2 and behind Wemby for Rookie of the Year for your squad, them Spurs.
Which I don't know. Do you agree with that? And he was there last year. I know he was hurt all year, but I can't be Rookie of the Year for your second year, right?
It's
Come
a
on.
standard. They started with Blake Griffin, when he had got injured those years back, and for some reason he played a couple. He played about I think 20 or 30 games in his rookie season, and then they gave him eligibility, I guess, for his sophomore year.
I don't know, man. I think that's a little shady, man. But I don't know.
Yeah, I've never agreed with that. But it's one of those things that the NBA does that they just act like if they hear us ask questions about it, they'll never answer.
Right? Exactly.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I don't
funny,
agree
man.
with it. I always thought it was weird as well.
Yeah.
That they did that.
Yeah, I mean, but
But
like you said, he has coming into his own. He is becoming one of somewhat of a star.
yeah, and I like that. And even the other guy who shocked me, I don't know if you know Jalen Williams.
Yeah,
For
Jalen
I
Williams.
think number 8. He's been really developing as well. So.
Right. And he's what? This his first year? He's not a rookie, or is he a rookie?
Now, as far as let me look. I don't know.
I know he's young.
Yeah, he's a youngster. But as far as how long he's been in the league,
1 year.
I looked him up
I
the
think
other
this is his
day.
second year. This might be his second year. I think he was a rookie
So,
last year.
okay.
Yeah, but you're right. He's done well. He's playing well. He's a young guy. 6'5". He came out of Santa Clara. Looks like. Yeah. So I mean, he's doing well. He's giving them 19 points a game. It's gone down in the postseason to 18, but he's still performing solid. So that's a good take. I think either one of those guys could become that second guy for him, but they haven't really established it yet. So
Yeah.
shout out to SGA for taking him this far.
Yeah.
Him being the true number 1 guy on the team, but not really having that solid number 2.
Yeah, that kid is definitely needs more press, man. He's very impressive, and his skill set is just, I could watch him play basketball all day.
I mean, if he could develop a 3-point shot, man, it'd be crazy because he's more of a mid-range guy. Take to the basket, get fouled. He's like that mid-range game, but he's not really a 3-point shooter. If he could develop that game, then he would be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with that, big bro. I definitely agree with that. And moving along, you made a mention of Luka's old running buddy, Jalen Brunson, another guy very crucial and critical of me personally. I like the talent. I like what I'm seeing, but I got some opinions about Mr. Brunson.
Oh, okay.
For the Knicks,
you throw shade at him, huh?
Huh?
You throw some shade at him, huh?
Yeah. Because
okay,
my basketball philosophy, big bro, I think it just goes back to philosophy. It's nothing personal. Is that we move the ball around. My coaches was one of those. If you held the ball for more than 3 seconds, you're running laps. So,
okay.
I enjoyed the old school Spurs. When y'all was in y'all's heyday and winning everything, and I enjoyed the Golden State era just before the ball flow, and I enjoy watching the Denver Nuggets play when they're actually not laying down. Actually play some basketball. But for Jalen Brunson, personally, I find him more of one of those isolated players. He's one of those guys that can go get you a bucket when you need one, when the offense is stagnant. But I think that Jalen Brunson has a bad habit of going 4-9 in the fourth quarter. 5 of 13 in the fourth
Really?
quarter. Yeah, it's just
Whoa.
something about in that
Really?
fourth
Oh,
quarter he just
wow.
starts missing a lot of
But be
shots.
but be to be fair, he's carrying the team for the most part. He hasn't really had that second guy. I mean, all the guys are hurt, you know. You have even, uh, what's his name? Anunoby's hurt now.
Oh, yeah,
He and, what was his name? Julius Randle got hurt. So he's had a lot of injuries to his big guys. So they're kinda playing with all guards now, and so he's kinda had to carry them in the scoring. So, I mean, to be
yeah.
fair, he probably worn out by the fourth quarter. But
Okay, I'll
but
give
I
him
get
that.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And I like that you said that. I had another one of my mentors, Mr. Melvin Wall. He came in. He made some great points as well as far as the injuries go. And, when
Mhm.
you're in that situation, then it made the offensive load is going to be a little bit more on your star naturally.
Right.
But I was making my contest with even when Julius Randle was there, we would get into these segments of the game where Jalen Brunson he'll get you, like I say, 4-9, 5 of 10. He'll get you there, but
Right.
it's just those
Right.
misses for me. Um,
Okay, that's fair.
but as far as
But
the
I
Pacers,
I feel like he's come up big in the fourth quarter for the most part for his team. I know, like
more,
you said, he misses quite a few, but more times than not, he does get that big shot at the end of the game
yeah,
to kinda get you over the top, get you over the hump.
yeah, and that's the only reason
Okay.
I ain't drug him. I've given Luca a
Okay.
very difficult time. I haven't drug him just yet, but
Okay. Right. Okay, that's fair.
for the Pacers in the next series, though, how are you feeling about it now that we getting another 7-game series in the NBA
Yeah,
playoffs?
and I told the guys on the bottom line squad, I said, "Man, this is gonna be could this be one of those classic Pacers Knicks? You know, back when Reggie was there, back when the Davis
Mhm,
boys were there, back when
mhm.
Patrick Ewing and those boys were there. I mean, they were doing 7-game series a lot,
Yeah,
especially in
yeah,
the Jordan years. You know, they were going back and forth quite a bit in the late
mhm,
'90s and even in the mid '90s. But they had some classic series, Game Sevens and stuff like that. Um, the thing is that this is one of those where the Pacers they might be losing an opportunity.
mm,
'Cause the Pacers, even though they're the lower seed, the Knicks are like for a little bit where they're nicked up, right? I mean, their Knicks are really hurt. They got a lot of injuries to their guys, and if you let Jalen Brunson basically be a one-man show and beat you, and then
mhm,
you also had the 76ers who are, Embiid was banged up.
yeah,
The Heat didn't have Jimmy Butler. I mean, this is a year for the Pacers to try and make a run at the Celtics,
yeah,
really, because
yeah,
next year everybody's gonna be healthier. Even the Bucks were hurt. Both their
yeah,
stars were hurt.
yeah,
Giannis has been out, and then Dame got knocked out early in the playoffs, and so this was a year for the Pacers to really make a move and try and make a run at the Western Conference Final, a la what was it back the Hawks a few years ago where they made a
yeah.
run to the Western Conference Final. I think if they lose this game, I mean they lost a golden opportunity to make the Western Conference Finals.
The Eastern or
Or
for the
Eastern
Pacers.
Conference, my bad.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. They're one of the few. I was saying health is they're one of the few teams where health is it haven't really been a bug for them. I know they
Right,
got
right,
one or two guys, but as far as Miles Turner being there, Obi Toppin, McConnell, and of course Halliburton, you all got
right,
enough to go tit for tat with this the only team that has enough to
right.
go tit for tat. So
Yeah, and I just feel like the Knicks, man, if Brunson's not scoring 35, 40 points, man, they're gonna have a tough time winning. I
yeah,
know Josh Hart has come up big a few times, and then DiVincenzo's been big at times, but if those guys struggle a little bit, I mean, Brunson's got to go out there and get 40 something, and
yeah,
so it's tough, to do that. And even if they get past this, I think they're gonna be so worn out. The
yeah,
Celtics are just gonna run right through them, and to me, but it'll be a good game 7. I think it'll go down. These games have kind of gone down the wire for the most part. Most of these games have been pretty close
yeah,
throughout the game, unlike some of these other, like Nuggets, Timberwolves have kind of been blowouts a little bit here and there. And of course the Celtics have blown out some teams. So, but these games have all been fairly close, and in the fourth quarter, it was anybody's game.
yeah. I definitely had this when the second round started. Excuse me. I
Mhm.
said the Knicks and the Pacers series is the one I'm gonna be the
Oh,
most The
Well,
one
I
I
did
picked.
call them the frisky Knicks. That's what I called them on my show. I said they're frisky. I mean, the Knicks might make the Western Conference Finals. I told them. I mean, and that was even with and Anunoby was still healthy. I
Yeah.
thought they could make the Western Conference Finals as the number 2 seed, and everybody didn't think that was going to happen. But I had a kind of a feeling they were going to make the Western Conference Final, but they haven't made it quite. I mean, the Eastern Conference Final, they haven't
Yeah.
quite made it, but they're set up to make it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. And you made a mention of probably the least entertaining series, surprisingly, the Denver Nuggets and the
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves. Just blowout. It's pretty much been like one good game, and then the rest of them been manslaughters. But how you been feeling about this, bro? Has the young Anthony Edwards impressed you, or has the Denver Nuggets, who's supposed to be the champions, disappointed you? I mean, how you feeling about the weight of this series? I mean, we're getting another. Yeah, that's a
Do
7-game
you want
series.
to talk Celtics at all?
I mean, I was gonna get into the Celtics last, just because they're the only
Okay.
team waiting in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Because Omar's a Celtics fan, so I was going to get into that a little bit. But yeah,
Are the professors in the building?
Yeah, is he in the building?
I can't see the comments from the stream. I'm sorry, guys, from my end of the stream yard for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't see any comments in the stream either. Make those
comments.
I have
like some people will be commenting on Facebook, and I'll see it after the fact. So
if
y'all are commenting, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I was gonna get to them Celtics because
that's fine.
The Celtics is we'll get into the Celtics, but as far as the Denver Nuggets and the Timberwolves, how you been
feeling? Me and Jake are kind of in agreement here. Whoever wins this series wins the NBA Finals. I feel like whoever comes out of this series is going to win the finals. And we'll talk about that later on. But when we talk about the Celtics, but man, the Timberwolves, I thought they were playing well. I thought Anthony Edwards looked really good. I know the comparisons to Michael Jordan have been there, and people don't like him. Some people do like him.
Yeah.
I think he's ahead of Michael just because he has his Scottie Pippen he has that second guy, and he has that third guy, that third option. Where Michael came into the league, he didn't have much on his team. I mean, to be honest, he didn't have anything for the first 2, 3, 4 years until he got Scottie, and then some of these other guys came along. But yeah, I mean, he has that dog in him. He has that. He's not afraid of the moment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need out of your superstars. And he's setting himself up to be the face of the league, especially from the American basketball side. You have all these foreign guys winning MVP. You have, Jokic, and you have Luka making a run at it, and you had Embiid. But he's kind of the kind of, you had people kind of talked about Tatum in that realm a little bit, but he hasn't kind of panned out as that guy to me. And Anthony Edwards is the next man up, I guess. To be the kind of the American face of the league. People kind of say there has to be a guy from America, from the United States, to really be the face of the league, which I kind of agree with to a degree, but it is what it is. There's a lot of international players, but this series has surprised me in that, I thought it could go 7, but I did not think that the road teams would win the first 4. They would go 2 road games, and then the road team. Because when the Timberwolves went up, man, it looked bad when they went up 2-0. But I said I don't think it's over. It's all game 3. The Nuggets can take game 3. It's a new series. I think the Nuggets could possibly take game 4. Once they took game 4, it's definitely a series again, right? Because if the Timberwolves win game 4, man, 3-1, that's going to be a hard road to manage. So once they won game 4, this became a series again, and it's been entertaining. Even though 1 or 2 have been kind of blowouts, especially the last game. It's been entertaining to see, and now that the home teams win. So if that holds true, then Nuggets should win game 7. Now that the home teams have started to win their games. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, this has been an entertaining series. I think these whoever wins this wins the NBA Finals to me.
I think that, I'll start off at the helm with the young man, Anthony Edwards. I don't agree with the Michael Jordan comparisons. He reminds me, at this stage of his career, he reminds me a lot more Tracy McGrady, just being an offensive. Well, let me say it like this: Tracy McGrady, if you recall, Orlando Magic Tracy, not Houston Rockets Tracy. Orlando Magic Tracy still had a little bit of dog in him. He played a little bit of defense, enough defense where we call him the second best guard behind Kobe. And here's the thing: any given night, Tracy McGrady could have gave you 35, 40 points in his prime. I'm not saying in the sense of I'm not giving him Michael Jordan just yet, because Michael Jordan had the takeover ability. Even when nobody else was scoring, Michael Jordan would go out there and get you 60 and maybe the win as well. I don't see that much in Anthony Edwards just yet. And I mean, I don't know. You think that's a fair
Man,
comparison, Big Roy? You think that's a little bit much?
man, Tracy McGrady, you're like,
Well, yeah,
you're
because
like,
we know the totem of his career. But at one point in time,
yeah.
Tracy McGrady was a highly touted prospect, and it was between him
Hey,
and Kobe.
why don't we give him Kobe at least? Anthony
Because
Edwards is Kobe Bryant.
when you say Kobe, I'm thinking more skill set. Now Anthony Edwards does have a quote unquote, it's called the bag. He has
He's
a
got a
bag.
bag. He's got a bag. He's got some mid range. He can shoot the three. I mean, he's got his best highlight in the regular season was a block. One of his best highlights. I mean, he's got defense. I think he's got better defense than Kobe did.
And that's why I say, as far as length goes, I think because we know the entirety of Tracy McGrady's career, that we can look back and be like, well, it all ended. It flamed out bad.
I don't know if you remember this far back, but maybe let's go here. And he didn't have a extended career because of injuries. And then now I'm forgetting his name. The guy from the Pistons. Grant Hill.
Grant Hill, yeah, okay, all right,
yeah, he's like a Grant Hill at least.
Yes,
because Grant he could drive the basket. He had a mid range. He could shoot three every now and then, and he played pretty solid defense. Injuries caught up to him, but he was that guy that people were talking about him, kind of like Anthony Edwards. They were talking about him being the next face of the league before he got injured. He was really, really good. People don't remember that about him because of his injuries. Kind of slowed him down, but when in his prime, those first few years, man, he was it, man.
I love that. You're a savant of the game, Flo. You definitely know your basketball history.
Flo knows basketball.
I was going with Tracy McGrady because that was a little bit more my era, what I know. But Grant Hill is a perfect comparison as far as when you study the game and you know what Grant Hill was about. Coming from the Dookies and all that kind of stuff. He was a bad mamma jamma. So that's a great comparison. Prime Grant Hill to what we're seeing from this young man right now. Yes, because you're talking even with the Michael Jordan comparisons.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little premature. I get what you're saying, but I would say he definitely could be compared to a young Michael Jordan, not prime Michael Jordan, but young Michael Jordan. I think that's a fair comparison. But if you want to go back and not give him quite MJ, I would say Grant Hill.
Yeah, okay, I love that. Yeah, because young Grant Hill was 87 Jordan, just all over the place.
He was good, man. People don't remember because it was short lived. He only had a few years before he got injured, and then he just was never the same.
And he was actually one of the guys that Jordan actually acknowledged as far as going toe to toe with him and Penny Hardaway. Jordan actually was like, okay. I think Jordan even wore some pennies. The only shoe he ever wore outside of the Jordan. Just because he liked Penny. I believe so. That might be a story. I remember. But I know he was.
You might have made that up.
Yeah, you talking about Michael Jordan wearing another shoe?
Right, exactly. Come on. I don't think that happened.
Now,
maybe off the court he wore them.
As far as it's on the other side of the ball, the Denver Nuggets. Now, forgive me when I say this. I've always been a believer in the Joker. I've always been a believer in Jamal Murray and Mike Malone. But what these Timberwolves have shown me, that they definitely have a kink in their armor that I wasn't aware of. You know what I mean? As far as these guys can be, they're not as athletic as they look. They have an athletic guy in Aaron Gordon, but as far as overall, they can't really match up with these younger guys. And if the Timberwolves had 1 or 2 more years of playoff experience under their belt, they had already gone through a 7-game series. I think this game would have been over game 6. The Timberwolves could have got them out of there earlier, but that championship pedigree does kick in. That whole we've been there before does play a factor. So I'm giving Denver the edge on that. But as far as, let's just say, if they had a chance to three-peat, if the opportunity presented itself, I wouldn't put my betting money on that. Now that I've seen what the Timberwolves were able to do with them, because now there's videotape out there, everybody's seen it.
That's
we can
fair,
do this.
I mean, that's fair, and I see what you're saying about athleticism, but as far as basketball skills, I just don't think they're there, and it could be the veteran part of it, right? Jamal's been around. Of course, KCP's been around. Michael Porter Jr. He's had his injuries, but he's been very healthy the last couple of years. And of course, Aaron Gordon. He's not as athletic as he probably used to be, but he's still long. He's a good defender. He
Yeah.
usually takes on the top guy on the other side, kind of bothers him. And of course, Nikola Jokic is definitely not athletic, right? I mean,
Right, yeah.
but he's got that. I hate to make this comparison, but he's got the Kyrie Irving athleticism.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Kyrie Irving, he's one of the best finishers under the rim
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see how he goes around these people. Of course, he got handles, right? But he goes up and he finishes against bigger guys right at the rim, and you're like, how does he do it? He's not he's like dunking over him. He just got moves, and that's what Nikolai, the Joker, has. I mean, he just got moves, and he just outmoves you. I mean, he's not going to outjump you, but he just gives you so many moves and his footwork and just so many turns and twists, and then you get lost, and he's kind of like, I don't know if that's a good comparison, but he's kind of like the Kyrie Irving of big man. I mean, he just got so many moves and it's not like he's dunking it either, and he's a big guy.
Right.
He's just laying it in there around you, going around you, and you get lost. So it's kind of crazy how he's able to do that. He's just got a lot of what would you call it? I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Anticipation, right? He anticipates where you're going, and he's like a step ahead of you, and one move ahead of you, and that's how he overcomes his lack of real pure athleticism.
Yeah, I love that, and that's why I've been a big fan of Joker. But before he got his first MVP, I was noticing him like this dude. And my coach used to always say something as far as if you're undersized or if you're not as athletic, you just got to get to your points. You know what I mean? You got to get to a certain point. It doesn't matter how big this is.
Right.
You can get to your little comfort zone and just throw it up there. You got a chance. But that's a great comparison as far as just that know-how, those wrinkles in your game.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I used to have that because I was a taller guy in basketball. Whenever you play pickup, I'm 6'2", so I was always either the tallest guy or one of the tallest guys. So I either got put on the really tall guy that was way too tall for me, way too big for me, or I was. But the thing about me, and I wasn't super athletic. I wasn't like dunking over people, but I just moved, and I would you just did those moves and those footwork, and you just kept kind of juking the guy, and you would move left, move right, and you feel him move a certain way, and you would just anticipate the other direction. And I was pretty good at being under the rim that way, and that's why I like Joker. I like people who can work under the rim because I had to do that a lot. I wasn't a big jump out of the gym guy, and so when I played basketball, I had to try and use my mind a little more and try to work, get fake people out and get people to go the direction that you want them to go, so you can go the other way.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that, and that I see Joker's one of those guys that just has so many moves. He's not the best dribbler, not the best jumper, but he's always, it seems like he's got a step ahead of you, and he always gets the ball off. He'll get blocked every now and then, but he always seems to get his shot off no matter what.
Yeah, and that's a lot of something these casual, the Joker critics, they don't really understand. They just want to see dunks and threes, and
I mean, I don't know if you saw a couple of those when he was shooting kind of a little hook shot, a little jump hook over over what's his name, the defensive player of the year. What's his name?
All three of them, Rudy.
Gobert. Yeah, even them. Yeah, he was putting it high off the glass to make sure it wouldn't get blocked, and it was going in. I'm like, you can't just throw up stuff like that, man.
It was reminiscent. I was saying it was reminiscent of Kareem Skyhook. He would just get to that, but you couldn't do nothing about it.
Get to a spot you couldn't. He's gonna shoot it. You just gotta hope he misses. Exactly.
Well, let's get to the final course of these NBA playoffs, big bro. For the professor, shout out to Omar out there, man. Also, my boy
professor.
Jamel. Yeah, I know he's
Jamel.
Yeah, Jamel King Mel from the Four Corner. A good friend of the channel, of course.
Good.
He's a big Celtics guy as well. Also, my boy Paulie Corleone. I can't forget the consigliere. So everybody's got a lot of high hopes for this version of the Celtics. I think you've seen the roller coaster just like I've seen, bro. These kids, I mean, as far as the Jays, they've gone from kids to just pieces to now they're the faces of the franchise. They're getting the big bucks now. What's your take on these Boston Celtics.
And Omar hates this because Jake's a little, Jake, he's a little more crash about it because he hates the Celtics. He wants to he likes to get under Omar's skin. But I gave Omar, and he's just he's almost too optimistic.
Yeah.
And so well, this is what I told Omar. I said, look, aren't you a little kind of, shaken by the fact that you're playing nobody? You played the Heat without Jimmy Buckets, right?
Mm.
And what was the next round?
They had the Cavaliers.
The Cavaliers, and who got hurt? Donovan Mitchell got hurt.
The guy that scored 50 on their heads.
Exactly. And the star player was injured. And the Cavs haven't been a great team all year. And now you're going to get the Knicks, who are all banged up. And even Jalen Brunson's been, banged up a little. He's still, working through it. But he's like 3 or 4 of his starters are out. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're going to go into the Western Conference Finals against teams that have battled through adversity, probably game 6 and 7s and just played great teams. And your Celtics have not played anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, his argument is, we played all year long. We played great all. I said, man, Omar, the playoffs is not like the regular season. This. It's different in the playoffs, and they haven't been challenged. They haven't been tested. And the other thing I told Omar is, for most of these playoffs, your star player, Tatum, has been the 3rd leading scorer. That's not good. I think he moved up to 2nd leading scorer now, but he should, if that's your number 1 guy, since when has Michael Jordan ever been the 2nd leading scorer in a series in the playoffs? I mean, maybe in a game, but it just doesn't make sense. Make it make sense to me, Tony. How is he the 2nd or 3rd best scorer on your team if he's your star player? Everybody says it's Tatum's team. It's his team.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I told Omar. Tatum I think is a great number 2 trying to be the number 1 guy. He's not a 1. He's a 2. And he's trying to be a 1, but he's not a 1. Jaylen Brown is more of a 1 than he is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he's got that dog in him, and just Tatum is not that guy. He's not that guy. He's talented. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. If I was a Celtics fan, I would be a little afraid going into these Western Conference Finals. I mean, you feel like you're gonna make the Eastern Conference and win, and go into the NBA Finals. I meant the NBA Finals, but going into the NBA Finals, I would be a little afraid because you haven't really played anybody, and Tatum has not. Even every playoff series, it seems like Tatum is not played well, and this playoffs is not any exception to the way he's played in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you think, Tony.
I love that assessment, Big Bro, and this is what I loved about this is what I love about the Celtics the most, because I'm gonna say this, my hot take, Tony,
Tony, let's go.
My take is that 2024 is the Boston Celtics year. I got them winning it all. I got them in Denver in the playoff, in the finals.
Well, okay.
And I'll tell you why. In the off season, I just wrote a blog about this as well, Big Bro. If you want to, I was a little optimistic in the blog because you want to cater to the audiences that you're writing to. But
okay.
My realistic thing is that we've seen this roller coaster, for the past few seasons. Like I said, in the beginning, Jaylen Brown was more of a 3-and-D guy. Jason Tatum was just, a prospect, if you will. We didn't know what he was going to be. And they both developed, And
he's getting paid like a number 1.
Yeah. It's one of my points, because this is one of the few, the Jays in their era. This is one of the few old school kind of buildups, if you will, because we've seen the old school Celtics. They went through it before they became the champions. The Lakers went through it. The bad boy Pistons went through it. We've seen Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen go through it. So it may take some years of losing. No. I'm not saying it's apples to apples, though, Big Bro. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
As far as building through the gulag,
they went through some battles in the Eastern Conference Finals to get.
And that's what I'm saying. Building through the gulag. When you're talking about, you gotta when you get those heartbreaking game 7.
You're well read, the gulag. Okay.
Oh yeah, Big Bro. Yeah. And when I compare the Jays, when I say they've been through the gulag and the gauntlet together, it would be upsetting if these two don't get a championship, because they've experienced so much together and a lot of heartbreak. So it's reminiscent of the old school dynasties when you had to lose for the first 4, 5, 6 years before you did get your 3, 4 championships? Maybe, because Jaylen Brown is only 27, Jason Tatum's only 25. Michael Jordan didn't win his first championship to 28, and so forth, so on. So they're still kids on paper. This is what it's a disadvantage for them. They shoot too many dang on threes. They want to be number ones, and they've never humbled themselves. This was the point of contention between them two, and Kyrie Irving. As far as Kyrie Irving won a championship and was trying to show these guys how to do it, they wanted to be, no, we're the stars, we're the guys that got drafted here, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So that young ego come into place, and we can even see it sometimes between them two. They don't know who's going to be the number one option, and they just kind of pass off to each other. I do agree with you on this note. Jason Tatum is a number 2 trying to be a number 1. I think he can develop. He just doesn't have. He has a new school mentality almost, where it's like, I'm gonna score, I'm gonna let my opponent score, and all that kind of stuff. Now, Jaylen Brown is a guy that, if the game is on the line, Jaylen Brown is a number 1, but he doesn't have the skill set of a number 1. It would be beautiful if Jaylen Brown can hit those mid-range consistently in the last 3 minutes of the game. Then undoubtedly you got you a $300 man and you justify it. But I'm sorry, I mean, I
was just going to correct you. Jason Tatum is 26. He'll be 27 in March.
Okay, 26.
And Jaylen Brown is already 27. So these guys aren't as young as you saying. You give them kind of push them in the young, but they're not young.
That's why
this is their time.
That's why my hot take is this is the year, because at this point, we've just 6 Eastern Conference East.
But you don't think that means anything, that they hadn't really played anybody?
No. That's a concern as well.
Until the NBA Finals.
That's a concern as well. Okay. Now, here's the only kicker to that is that they've been in playoff series where the other guy was healthy, and they've conquered the Miami Heat fully healthy before. That's probably their number 1 rival. They've conquered the Philadelphia Sixers last year, as far as a fully healthy James Harden and a fully healthy available Joel Embiid. They've played teams that have been as full health. Now, as far as this year, it's kind of, it's unfortunate. I would have loved
him out last year, though. Didn't the Heat take him out last year?
Yeah, he took him. I'm talking about years past. We know.
But like you were saying, though, when they get past that team, they don't go back and lose to them. When Jordan got past the Pistons, he didn't start losing to them again. When the Celtics started winning, they didn't go back and start losing in the West. Well, I think they lost once, but that was in the finals against the Lakers. But I'm just saying they shouldn't have gone backwards and lost to the Heat last year. They should have won last year. I don't know.
That's the funny part about this. You know what I mean? That's why I'm trying to give them. I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic, not as optimistic as the sports professional. I think he's on cloud 9 about his season.
I think
talk about him.
Yeah, he's in the clouds, man. He ain't seeing nothing. And so
you got to be faithful. I'm like that with my Bulls. It's just we suck,
Right.
If we were good, I'd be understanding. But and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, big bro. I am sorry about that.
No, you're good, man. I keep going, man. I just think that if they don't do it this year, when are they going to do it?
Exactly. If
they don't do it this year, when are they going to? And this, I just feel a little precarious about the way Jason Tatum's been playing, man. He's been for the most part of the playoffs, and I think he's number 2 now. He was the third leading scorer, man. How do you do that as the number 1 guy? It just doesn't make sense. And I just think that not being battle tested in these Eastern Conference Finals is not gonna play well for them as they go into the Western. I mean, they play against the Western Conference champs, whoever that might be. I mean, even if it's the Thunder or the Mavericks, I think those guys are battle tested more than these Celtics are. I think it's gonna be either the Timberwolves or the Nuggets. Whoever comes out of that series is going to end up making it. There's the sports professor. He said, "Here we go, haters
in the building."
What's up, Wall and Buds, man? Yeah, we ain't hating, man. We're just being realistic. Hey, and Tony's got your Celtics going all the way and winning. I think, right? You still got them winning. So you don't, whether it's Timberwolves or Nuggets, you got the Nuggets. You got them beating the Nuggets in the championship.
Yeah, I think the
Boston. How many games do you think?
Just because the Boston, this is and I love how you're speaking about it, Flo. Just because this is the thing about the Boston Celtics. I want to, go for them, but I can't trust them because at any given night they can get blown off the floor. And I'm talking about not a 20-point loss. We're talking about 30s and 40s. So it's like, come on, man, y'all. You can't be we can't take you as seriously as we want to when any given night an injured Miami Heat can beat you by 35 points. I just that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So at that point, I want to. It's like I love the Celtics. I don't trust them.
Talk about being a hater there, Omar.
Hey, respectfully, and I understand. It's just your Celtics sports professor has given us 8 years of game tape in none of these years.
What happened last year, Omar, against the Heat? They should have won last year too. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I give him. I try to help him and try and help him see these things, but he doesn't want to see it. He says that he doesn't see it, right, or he doesn't want to. So, but that's fair. I understand. I mean, he's a big Celtics fan, so he's in cloud nine, like you said. He's just in the clouds. He don't see nothing but clouds and rainbows right now. But he's gonna see a lot more once they get into the NBA Finals. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this out there, Tony. Whoever comes out, whether it be the Pacers, I think the Pacers can give them, because of their youth and because they're healthy. I think the Pacers could give them a run for their money, and even the Knicks, I think, could give them a run for their money. And I could see at least going 6 games, maybe even 7, because we've seen the Celtics play with their food and just and not put a team away and just let them hang around. And I could see either one of those teams taking this team 7 for no reason other than the Celtics are playing around and not finishing off an inferior team.
And Big Ray, that's perfectly said, because the Pacers, quiet as kept, are the number 1 offense in the league. So if any team can get it going, and they got the number 1 bench, number 1 offense, and the number 1 and number 2 highest scoring bench players in the playoffs. So at any given time, and we, like I say, respectfully to the sports professor, any given time, your Celtics can make a team look like a GD all-star team, for the lack of a better word.
Right.
They had Jaime Jaquez Jr. looking like a dang on second best option for the Miami Heat. So
yeah,
and I like that kid. I would say he's a third, fourth best option as a rookie. But when that's the Celtics for you, they'll make you look better than you are.
Right.
And so respectfully, though, like I say, my betting money is on them to win it all.
Okay. Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton, I think, needs to step it up for them. He's been really inconsistent. He needs to really step it up and be kind of their leading scorer, on offense. He needs to kind of be their offense. Offense kind of needs to go through him, and he hasn't been that in all these games. I think he scored single digits 1 or 2 games. I mean, that's not acceptable for him.
Yeah.
He's got to step it up. But if whoever comes out of the East, I could see them taking them 7 games. They shouldn't take the Celtics. It should be a gentleman's sweep, in my opinion.
Respectfully.
All things considered, they should take these 2, either one of these teams out in 5. Yeah. If it goes past 5, man, the Celtics, I don't know what they're doing. I'd be even more afraid going into the NBA Finals if you let either one of these teams take you past 5 games.
And that's very well said, big bro. No other way to talk about these. Hold on, let me see. Sports professor got a couple more comments. Don't ever blaspheme the name of the and Jaime Jaquez, UCLA 8 clap, baby. Yeah, that's my boy. I love Jaime. I think he's gonna be a star in this league eventually.
Okay.
But we got a couple other sports topics we gotta hit.
Okay.
That's all right, Flo. You got
yeah, go ahead.
We got a big boxing match tonight. Quiet as kept.
Woo.
Very quiet. We've got a lot of boxing news going on right now, man. I want to see if we can get a little bit of everything in a timely manner. Usyk and Fury, undisputed heavyweight implications. What's your thoughts on this, big bro? How you feeling about that?
I don't follow boxing like I should. I kind of pay attention to the big fights.
Yeah.
And my dad was a big boxing fan. I mean, that's how I got into boxing. He was a big Roberto Duran, Manos de Piedra, Roberto Duran back in the day, Alexis Arguello and Sugar Ray Leonard, all those guys, Hagler, Hearns, and so he was a big Duran fan. And so, is it over? Are they fighting right now?
Did Usyk win? That's what I had my money on.
Is that who you had your money on?
Yeah. I was going to say respect. I don't really follow, the intricacies of boxing, but I have been keeping up with the names, the bigger names. Like, nah, this is one of those. Split
Wow.
decision victory. I did see the fellas in the chat. They say once we was going live, the fight was going to start, and I was like, "Dang, it seems a little early."
Right, for a fight?
Yeah, Saturday you usually get Saturday night lights, so
Yeah, yeah.
so I guess we got the fight. We got a new champion,
Do we? Is it a split decision?
and I'm gonna look it up right now. Usyk.
Yeah, look it up right now. I thought Fury could take this fight, but like I said, I don't follow boxing like I used to. Uh,
Wow. Yeah. 10
what they
minutes
say?
ago. Yeah, 10
Fury
minutes
knocked
ago.
Fury got knocked
The sports.
around
Shout out to
round
the
9.
sports professor. I seen it from him first. I like to cite my sources.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all over the net right now.
Okay.
ESPN.
It was a split decision, so apparently it was either close or I don't know. That sometimes the judging. Uh, okay.
Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's true. They got
Okay.
the.
Yeah, and Tyson Fury had a little bit of a problem with in Joku
Hmm.
as well, who's not even a fighter, and so you kind of see you saw him, some chinks in the armor for Fury. So
Hmm.
I thought Fury could pull this one out, but it looks like Usyk has won this fight. So my money would have been on Tyson Fury. I know Clubber D was saying he felt like uh, is it Usyk?
Yeah, Alexander Usyk.
Usyk.
He
Yeah,
said,
he said Usyk was going to win this by decision. So shout out to Clever D. He kind of called that, but he felt like Tyson Fury might knock him out, but he wasn't sure which way to go. But I think he called officially uh, Usyk would win by decision. So,
mm-hmm.
but yeah. This is a good fight. I don't know what's next. What do you think would be next for Usyk? I mean, I didn't realize he was 35, man. He's older than I thought because he's only got like 20 something fights. So I guess he
Mm-hmm.
got into the pro game late. I'm not sure. We'd have to look that up. But yeah, I was surprised he was already 35. I thought he was a younger cat than that.
Uh, Immediate rematch in the contract. Yeah, I was just about to say. I was thinking that they probably more
Immediate.
than likely have a rematch clause set up.
Okay, that's fair.
And if not, then it's a lot of younger heavyweights coming up in the
Hey,
ranks. And
so I'll get the professor. So what was it really a split decision, or could you call it for Fury?
yeah,
What do you think? Yeah, give us your comments. See what you think.
I
Since we
was
didn't get
going,
to see
man. I
the
was
fight.
gonna watch the fight. I was gonna bootleg it, honestly. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Some of these fights I don't ask for. I just bootleg them. I ask for
right.
certain fights. So,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I
Yeah,
like Alexander. I will say I do like Alexander Usyk. Not as a style fan, but a few fights I've seen about 3 or 4 of his fights.
right.
He's one of those kind of fighters that's really like slick. Kind of
Southpaw,
uses
right?
his southpaw, uses his frame.
Mhm.
Uh, Very high level skill. It was a great fight, but in the 9th round, he said
Okay,
Fury got knocked down. In the
okay, so
ninth.
maybe that was the I guess the tipping point. You get knocked down, you get a 10-8 round. So
Mm-hmm.
that probably put him over the top. Well, hey, maybe this will turn out for a good rematch. Uh, Fury got battered with 14 flush uninterrupted punishing shots. Wow. Okay.
That's the thing. That's the thing too, man. Fury, man. He when he's sloppy and he's losing, it looks bad. When he's good, he's
Right.
good. When he's
Right.
bad, he's bad. And
Right. I mean, and to be fair, I mean, Usyk is actually older than him. I messed that up. Usyk's 37, and Fury's 35. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird how old Usyk is.
yeah,
It kind of
he
it
might
kind of threw
retire
me
as
off.
undisputed. He might retire as undisputed and just relinquish the belt.
Right. Who
He'll
knows?
get
Well, I mean, there's a rematch in the clause, so he's at least got to fight him again. So
Oh yeah. In this one, they might even have a trilogy. You know how it goes.
yeah, that's true. I guess if Fury wins, they might have a trilogy. So
Hmm.
that might happen as well. But that's good. At least it was a good fight. I would hate for it to be kind of sometimes you get those split decisions. They're just kind of boring fights. So
Yeah,
at least it was a good fight. So I look forward to seeing the highlights.
yeah. Likewise. Uh, the Ryan Garcia saga. Have you been keeping up with that one, Rigro?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens with all this other testing. I don't know. I know it's what was it the whatever it's called,
Yeah, Ostrine and something
Austrine.
else.
Yeah, he was cleared of the actual what steroid, but I guess the Austrian is something, some kind of an enhancing a PED or something.
Now,
He continues. It's weird. I mean, he continues to claim that he's innocent. I don't know. I mean, the problem is boxing is it's been shady for a while. You know, you always have these fights that obviously somebody should have been the winner, but it was a split decision or it was a draw, and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. He claims he's innocent. Though my only deal, and I think I mentioned this, and you kind of made a comment on it that he says, I mean, he put it on God. Hey, God's gonna take care of me. He knows that they're just trying to take this away from me.
mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. I would never, unless I was sure that he's always, that I was sure that I was innocent, right? I would never put anything on God or look to God or Jesus or anything unless for sure I was innocent. And that's the only thing I got. I mean, I think he's sincere in his faith. I don't think he's like the ultimate, Christian example and that people should look up to him. I mean, he's only been a Christian a few years, he's not like a very pious guy, but he's strong in his faith from what I can see and what I've heard. So I don't know. It's tough, man. I hope he's innocent just because he's putting God's name in there and he's professing, God's got his back and all this stuff. So I hope it all clears up somehow. It's just weird, because boxing's got its black eyes on and
Yeah.
off, throughout the decades and years, So I don't know. What's your thought?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. I just think it's the boxing fans are being a little weird about it. I mean, this Ryan and I've been called a Ryan Garcia hater in these last 3 weeks. Like I don't really have a pony in the race between
Right.
Devin Haney. I'm actually a big Errol Spence fan. So if
Okay.
Errol Spence was involved, I might be a lot more biased and doing a little bit more of that fanboy thing for him.
Right. And then he said he wanted to fight him.
Yeah, right. That's when they start. My ears start itching. Like, okay, let's get
Okay.
it in. That's my
Right,
guy now.
right.
But as far as I noticed, it was a lot of back and forth between Haney and Ryan Garcia from the jump. My only thing
Right.
about this with Ryan Garcia, man, is that this is the thing, and the good book says this. As far as being a Christian man to a alleged Christian man, Ryan Garcia is professing himself to be. The Lord holds you at your words. You're going to be accountable.
Whoa. You're gonna say alleged? Why
I'm
you
not
gonna
gonna
say
say
alleged?
alleged. I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna say this, Big Bro.
Okay, I'm just saying, man. You
If he's
can't.
using the Lord's name in vain
Well,
as a Christian man, like we agreed in that. We can't,
okay.
I can't endorse
That's fair.
that.
That's
If you
fair.
out here, if you know, all right, this is the thing. If you know you've
Dirty.
stolen a piece of candy and you confessing to Walmart in the public, I didn't steal nothing from Walmart, but you stole that piece of candy.
I swear to God, I didn't do it.
Exactly. It's like as a Christian, as a man.
No. Now, if you're a little kid, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're a grown adult doing that, yeah,
Then we'll
I
make
see what you're saying.
yeah, an innocent child, you make exceptions. So your mind is development, your spirit is development.
Right.
But Ryan is old enough to be held accountable. So my thing is, as a Christian,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say alleged as far as him believing in Jesus Christ that
Okay.
being his
I was gonna
savior.
say, man, yeah, he says he is, man. You can't say he's not. I mean,
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not.
okay. I mean, no
I'm
one's
saying
perfect. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, he's saying he is. So alleged Christian,
no. I mean, as far as alleged, as far as you using God's name in vain and standing
Okay.
on that. Yeah. No, as far
Okay. That's fair.
and then that's why I say we were in agreement in that sense.
Mhm.
But I do say this is that it's all about integrity for me. It don't matter what
Okay.
sport you in.
Right.
I recall I was a big UFC guy until you find out dang near every UFC guy is doping, especially during the Kale Sonnen days when he was throwing everybody under the bus.
Right.
Respectfully, I don't care what you got to do to compete, but
Right.
it comes down to integrity. You know what I mean? I'm a competitor myself, so
Okay.
if I'm going imano with a guy, if I'm playing chess and and you got a crooked piece on the board, I'm gonna look at you funny. It's
That's
just
fair.
a matter of integrity. So if Ryan Garcia, if you're questioning the integrity of the sport, and there's been people coming out talking about ban Ryan Garcia from the sport, all that kind of, I think that's a bit harsh. He should be held accountable in some regard, but
Right.
banning him, Yeah, he should be shamed in the public and given an opportunity to redeem himself.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I
at
don't
the
know.
same,
I mean, like I said, I hope he's found innocent. I hope everything comes out negative and whatnot. But I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of shady stuff happens in boxing,
yeah,
unfortunately,
respectfully.
and yeah, allegedly that happens in boxing. That's the big word the other day, allegedly.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm on Ryan's side. I hope he's innocent. I hope that it all comes
yes,
out
sir.
and flushes out. But all the haters came out on both sides. If
Yeah,
you're for Ryan, you're all defending him to the hill, and if you're against Ryan, man, you're all downing him and calling him a cheater and all this stuff.
yeah,
And but it depends what side you're on. I'm on Ryan's side, but I'm not going to defend him to the hilt. If he's guilty, he's guilty. But man,
yes,
just don't do that, man. I hope he goes to the Lord and asks for forgiveness for using the Lord's name in vain, so to speak. And so I don't know. Like I said,
mm,
I'm on his side. I hope he's innocent just because of that, and he professes Christianity. And so I don't. It kind of leaves a black eye on my faith, basically,
yeah,
if he's out
yeah,
there doing that. So that I don't like that at all. So, but we'll
yeah.
see what happens, and it's going to shake out at some point and somehow. So, but
And
he mentioned he wants to fight Errol Spence. Would you think Spence be willing to fight, or you think he wants a rematch with Terrence Crawford first?
well, reporting from the Man Down Sports Camp, I
Okay.
follow a lot of people that's in the Errol Spence camp very closely.
Okay.
Errol, he's been really secretive of what he wants to do next. Of course, we had the whole Bud Crawford saga.
Right.
We were supposed to do the rematch thing with him. Errol Spence was just everybody was speaking on it except him, so that's why no motion. Then we seen him, about a month ago when Fedora and Tim Tszyu fought.
Mm-hmm.
He went in the ring and called out Fedora, but that was about as much public press as we've seen from Errol.
Right.
So as far as him and then him talking about Ryan Garcia, of course I would like to see him fight, but I would just like to see my guy active anyway. Not even if he fought
Right.
Ryan Garcia or if he fought some up and coming tomato can. I just want to see him back in
Okay.
the ring.
Okay. So you don't care who he fights as long as he's back in the ring?
Yeah, because coming off of that loss, you know what I mean? I need him to recover, get his confidence back. Bud Crawford beat the brakes off of him. Bud Crawford beat
Right.
him so bad that he made me a fan of Bud Crawford.
Right.
That's the beautiful part of boxing. You see
Right.
your fighter get beat up like, oh, I was cheering for the other guy.
Right. I want the other guy to win anyway.
Forget
Hey.
Errol Spence, but
Yeah.
being a loyalist, I just want to
Yeah.
see Errol get active in the ring. If he fought Ryan, that'd be great. I don't have, like I said, I'm not a Ryan hater. It's just
Right.
this whole
But
situation.
would you rather see him go back and fight Bud again first, or does it really matter? I mean, I know you want him back in the ring, but if one of those fights comes up, which would you rather have him kind of redeem himself with Bud, or just go ahead and fight Ryan and then maybe do Bud down the line?
Well, over here in the Man Down camp, big bro, we got a slogan. We don't do tune-ups. So I would
Oh,
love I would love to see him get it back with Bud Crawford. Like forget
okay.
Ryan at that point,
Right.
I would love to see him as far as avenge his loss,
And do you
as far
have confidence that he could come back and win that, or do you think Bud's got his number?
Oh yeah, no. Ultimately, my thing with Errol Spence is that a lot of people that if you're not, really following him closely, you don't know that he had a trainer, his strength and conditioning coach named Blu-ray. Now,
Mhm.
and you got your boxing trainer, who's always probably the more notable guy, Derek James and all that stuff. But
Right.
Blu-ray was the guy that made Errol Spence Errol Spence. Blu-ray is from Dallas,
Okay.
like Errol Spence is. Actually, they're both from DeSoto, Texas. They got a very storied history together. So the
Right.
he fired Blu-ray before the Bud Crawford fight, and I knew that. I'm like, oh, bro, you finna mess. This guy been working with you your whole
Okay.
career, all 33 of your years on Earth. Now you
Mhm.
want to fire him before the biggest fight of your career because you don't want to pay him. That's the
Right.
only reason why he did it. He didn't want to pay him. Uh,
Okay.
so karma, at that point, you do people wrong.
Right.
Bud Crawford did him wrong.
Right. There you go.
So
And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard any reports, but I mean, Bud Crawford. I mean, he's 36. Maybe he retires. I don't know. I mean, he's
well,
in
it's hard
that
to
age
say.
range where people start thinking about retirement as a boxer, especially starting to come out of your prime around that age.
Mhm.
You're not in your top form. You start to kind of get on the other side of your prime at that age, and so I don't know if he would even fight. I mean, he looked good
Yeah,
against Errol Spence. I mean, it's not like he looked like, but I mean, as the time goes by, man, it just you just don't got it anymore. So I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, we'll see
And
what happens.
boxers and football players, man, they age. 1 year for us is 5 years for them. So
Right. They can age quickly. I mean, you never know. There's guys, of course, that we've seen that in their late 30s that still fight well and
yeah,
still are kind of in their prime. They're still on the other side, but they're still. So you just never know. But
yeah.
hopefully, if they do fight again, that it's a good fight. That Bud is able to to reach peak form, and it's a good fight. No matter what happens.
Well, let me ask you this, B-Roll, because Bud is chasing a Canelo Alvarez fight,
Okay.
and I would love to see it. I'm not against it. I just think that Canelo is going to wash him.
Really? Okay.
Canelo's skill set is quiet as kept. Canelo probably isn't as skilled as Bud, quote unquote, but he is skilled, a very skilled fighter. In addition to his power, in addition to his footwork, in addition to his boxing acumen, I don't think Bud would pick up, because boxing muscle is heavier than regular muscle. Bud would go up there and be slower. He wouldn't be able to be as quick and as reactive as he is at 140, 147, when you're a lot lighter, and speed and dexterity is more king at those weight classes. But when you're in 160, 168, you got to come with some slugging power. And Bud he's always KO'd, but he ain't never just, left hook Ryan Garcia nobody. Not in my experience.
Yeah. What did they fight at when they fought Errol Spence?
They fought in Vegas.
I mean, what weight class were they fighting in?
147 welters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think Bud could come up? Because I don't know if Canelo would go back down to 140s.
No. But I mean, Canelo's definitely not going down. But my thing when Jermell Charlo fought Canelo Alvarez at 168, that's when I really noticed that you can't. I mean, I've always respected weight divisions, but you just can't say at 147 I'm gonna go to 160 and fight.
Yeah.
That's just that's not. What I mean, that you're talking about
some kind of catch weight, man.
Yeah, maybe a catch weight, but at this point in Canelo's career, he ain't gonna do that. Canelo,
right? So he's gonna dictate terms, I guess.
Bud has to move up 3 class. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. SP is like, yeah. In a dream world, on boxing on Xbox, that'll be great. But
right, yeah.
But yeah, man. As far as that goes, we'll see what happens. I'm all here for the Ryan Garcia drama. I like drama. I don't like drama in my life, but I like drama.
Yeah, and Canelo's at a point where he can dictate his terms, and let's see what Bud does. And I wouldn't. I mean, if I was Bud, I would say I can't do it, man. I can't go up there that high.
Yeah, Bud want those paydays. And I meant to segue off your point. Bud wasted a lot of his prime fighting years, doing that jump rope thing. Like, I'll fight this guy and not fight that guy. When you only gonna be 28 for 365 days, brother.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
With it. So he wasted a lot of those years, unfortunately.
That's fair.
But before we cut out, we were going to do a little football talk as we got some schedules. I was looking for your Cowboy. I think I did get the Cowboy schedule. Did y'all get y'all schedules?
Yeah, I posted it on our page. I guess you don't watch our page.
No. I know I ripped it. I rip a lot of y'all stuff at the bottom line. I love the group, man. That's my extended family. I'm looking at my screenshots now. I know I took it, but I got dang too much stuff in here. But what's your schedule? What's your take on the Dallas Cowboys schedule this year? Here it is, right here. Yeah, week 1 y'all got the Browns. 2 Saints.
Yeah.
Week 3 you got those Ravens who's supposed to be
right.
Yeah.
What you got? What do I think of the schedule, or what do you think our record is? What do you want?
Let's go with what you thinking of the schedule. Strength of it. How many wins you taking out of that?
I mean, the first 6 weeks is tough. I mean, you got the Browns, the Ravens, Steelers, who are always solid. I mean, I don't know how they'll be with Russell Wilson. And then you've got the Lions, who have been a playoff team the last few years, and obviously could have made the Super Bowl last year. And then after the bye, you got the Niners. So those first, even after the bye, you get a tough game, and then you might have the frisky Falcons after the Niners. They got Kirk Cousins now, and so then we finally play the Eagles in week 10, and so it's a tough schedule. I mean, I don't know how New York and New Orleans, those should be easier games, but those would be your 2 easier games in the first 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty tough schedule. It's tougher than last year. I was talking to Canteen and I said, hey, I think we can still get 11 games out of this.
Oh yeah.
I still think we can go 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I don't know if we'll win the division. Hopefully we could. I don't think the Eagles have come out of whatever funk they were last year. I don't. I'm thinking Jalen Hurts is more that Jalen Hurts than he is the Super Bowl Jalen Hurts. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
more of what we saw last year than we did that one year, and so plus they lose Kelsey and at the center. That's the anchor of that line. That's going to be hurt a little bit. I don't think they're going to have to adjust to that as well.
Yeah.
Then we get the second half of the season. We have the Texans, who are a solid team now. They got their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think Washington's going to be better than we think with Jaden Daniels, and I think Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator is going to do well. He's a good offensive coordinator, even he struggled as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got the Bengals, and then you got the Eagles twice. So a lot of division games at the back end, but you got the Bengals and the Bucks, who are solid, and the Texans, who are a solid team mixed in there. I think it's a tough schedule, but most of our tough games are at home, so that's good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot of them are at home. We are at San Francisco though, and at Cleveland, so those will be tough.
Yeah.
But we get Baltimore at home, we get the Lions at home, we get the Bengals at home,
Mm-hmm.
and so the Texans at home. So that'll bode well for us. So I got 11 games, but for us, I told Canteen, doesn't matter if we win 11 or 12 games. It's all about the playoffs. We got to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you don't make a run in the playoffs, it don't matter. So for us, it's all about you got to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's why they haven't signed Dak. In my opinion, I think the only way they sign Dak is if we go to the Super Bowl or if we go to the NFC Championship. At the minimum, we have to be in the NFC Championship and play well and lose a heartbreaker before they sign Dak again. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I see. About 11 games, 11 wins, and make the playoffs. Maybe as a wild card, but hopefully we win the division. Hopefully the Eagles take a step back, and Washington isn't as good as I think they might be.
I got you all taking at least 13 games we run. If y'all can win, if y'all can win y'all season, I ain't saying go 13-0. I'm saying 10-3 by week 13.
Okay.
I could see you all, eking out a couple more. As far as before you get to that gauntlet of, Bengals, Eagles again. Maybe the Bucks are tough with, Baker there. And again, I think I agree with you. The Commanders are going to be a little tougher as far as they feeling like they're revamping and got their quarterback now.
Right.
And they got Dan Quinn, don't they?
Yeah, Dan Quinn's the head coach.
Guy. Yeah, that was y'all's guy.
I mean, he's a solid head coach. He was good at Atlanta. He took Atlanta to the Super Bowl. So he's a solid head coach. He could be a solid head coach, but I think he was right about getting Cliff Kingsbury to be the offensive coordinator. Hey, let him run the offense, and he didn't have to worry about it. And he can kind of focus more on the defense. I don't think he needs to be more of a head coach, right? I mean, because he can't just be a defensive guy. But we'll see how he does. I mean, I'm not necessarily rooting for him because it's the Commanders. I don't want them to do well. But I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, my boy. He's from Texas Tech over here. That's where he went to school, and that's where he was a head coach as well. And he actually coached Patrick Mahomes while he was there. So Cliff's my boy, man. So I hope he does well, just not too good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Beat the other guys.
What's up? Man Down Sports, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on, Mel? Salute, big bro. Salute. But yeah, these Cowboys are always interesting. And you said
so you say we see us winning 13?
Yeah, I got you all winning at least. No, I said if you all can, I got you all winning. Yeah. I said at least 13.
Okay,
and that's
I like that.
That's completely hinged on you winning the first 13, games. You got to get it's some tough ones in there, but I think
we got to win 13 straight.
That would be ideal.
Like,
but I'm just as far as those tough games, because like when you get against, I can see the Cowboys by week 16 dropping against the Bucks. That's what I'm doing. But if you all start off hot, you beat the Browns, you get the Ravens out of here. Those are
saying 10-3 by week 13. 10-3.
10-3 is, and I say the Cowboys can win the division. As far as that goes. My only thing with the Cowboys, Flo, is this, big bro. And y'all lucky y'all ain't got, because I'm a Packers man. You lucky you ain't got us on your slate, because we would have
Oh,
definitely had to
okay.
give you
I
one
see.
guaranteed
We
loss.
might see on the playoffs though. Okay.
Exactly. My only qualm with the Cowboys, and especially living in Texas all those years, is that the Cowboys goons, what's going on, big bro? How you doing, man? One
So,
of my good friends of the channel.
okay, good.
The Cowboys y'all never stink like the Carolina Panthers or even the Commanders. Y'all never stink
Right.
it up like that. But you never get over the hump like the Kansas City Chiefs, or even as close as the 49ers, get into a
Right.
division, the actual title game. And I'm just so scared for y'all, man. Every year I'm
Yeah.
scared for the Cowboys. When those playoffs come around, it's like I get a bubble gut. I know it's not my team, but as a Texan,
Man.
through blood, I get nervous
Yeah.
for the Cowboys.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know what you're saying, man. I get nervous too, man.
But if
But yeah,
y'all avoid us, you can find
yeah,
yourself in the NFC conference game. NFC.
NFC Championship. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like part of me says Dak's gonna play hard because to prove, you know, that he deserves another contract.
Yeah.
And my only trepidation is that if he does make the Super Bowl or he does make the NFC Championship game and they play, you know, really well and almost make the Super Bowl, I feel like they're gonna have to pay him, and I really don't want him to pay him. I'm ready to move on from Dak. I'm okay moving on from Dak. I don't know where we're going. I don't know if Trey Lance is the answer or if we just draft somebody in the next draft. Or I don't know, but part of me was ready to move on from Dak. But I know if we make, if we get to the NFC Championship and bode well and almost win, or at least go to the Super Bowl, even if we lose, he's gonna get that contract. So I think I'm stuck with Dak that way. So I'm kind of in between a rock and a hard place. I want us to do well, but if we do too well, then we got to hold on to Dak for another 3 or 4 years. And so I don't know. I just feel like Dak was never the same after that injury. It took him a year to kind of get back. That year after the injury of his ankle, he didn't really. He was kind of tentative running. Then the next year, he kind of wanted to run. I feel like he has to be moving and on his legs. He's a better thrower when he's on the run. I feel like he's better rolling out and bootlegging and sometimes even scrambling, especially in the red zone. And I feel like he holds back too much, especially in the playoffs. I remember that one year they played the Rams. I don't know if you remember, but when they played the Rams, I think the Rams made the Super Bowl that year.
20 years.
Jared Goff had more rushing yards than Dak, and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah,
How's that possible? I'm like, Dak, for some reason, he goes away from the run. I don't know why. I need Dak to give me about 30, 40 to 70 yards rushing. He doesn't have to do it every game, but he needs to be a threat to run the ball.
You know what I think it is with Dak? I think sometimes his fourth round, he was a fourth round pick, and sometimes you're going to see that. Now, his potential and his flashes of greatness, first round, second round maybe, but what he was a fourth round pick, and then you start to notice that, okay, like you said, those lack of just those nuanced plays, knowing when to get that 10 yards on your feet, because Patrick Mahomes knows, Russell Wilson knows,
right? That's what I'm saying.
These are also first round quarterbacks that understand the nuances as far as that goes. Would you say that? And I agree with. Well, you kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask if you think that Dak deserves the money, but do you think that fourth round,
if he gets us to the Super Bowl, NFC Championship, he deserves the money. I just don't want to pay him, but I just think he's like the bizarro Patrick Mahomes. He's like when he should run, he doesn't, and when Patrick, like in the playoffs, during the season, Patrick doesn't really run a lot. He does when he has to, but in the playoffs, when it's necessary,
he will.
He takes off and runs, right? Because he needs to get that first down. He needs to make sure they get a score. They get whatever the case may be. And I think Dak does the opposite. And sometimes he forgets to run, or he wants to throw it more, or whatever reason he doesn't run in the playoffs like he should. I think he should pick it up. If anything else, in the playoffs, Dak should use his legs more. Even if he's just rolling out, even if it's just a couple of scrambles here and there mixed in, I think he should use his legs a little more. And that's part of his game to me. When he's been at his best the first 2 or 3 years, he was moving more. He was using his legs. He was a little more scrambling. And I think when he turns more into a pocket passer is where we get in trouble with him.
I think Kellen Moore was good for him as well, as far as when he was the offensive coordinator there. You don't think so?
Nah, Kellen Moore is just a bad play caller.
Bad
Nobody
play.
likes Kellen Moore.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he runs when we should pass, he passes when we should run, and then he would never stick to the run. Even if the run was working, he would start passing it again. Even if we're running down people's throats, he'd want to start passing. I go, "What are you doing, man? We're running, run it. Who cares about the passing?" He just got a little too cute. I'm not a big fan of his. I'm glad we got rid of him. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, I don't know. I just want Dak to use his legs. Just use your legs, Dak. I mean, just give me like 2 or 3 scrambles a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, coach, hey, call some rollouts, some bootlegs for Dak. He needs to be on the move a little more. I don't like him being up more than 50% of the time in the pocket. That's when we get in trouble because he just doesn't have a good feel in the pocket. He either moves away from pressure too quickly or too late, and I just don't like him in the pocket too much. The only time I like him in the pocket, a handful of times, and then when we do it off play action. Other than that, he needs to be moving.
Speaking of the leg game, because I just dawned on me, what are y'all going to do for the running back position? Are you bringing Zeke back, or
I mean, we got Zeke, man. What are you talking about?
Y'all got Zeke back? Okay, I was watching the headlines. I didn't see the actual if y'all got him back or not.
Yeah.
So how you feel about that?
I mean, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I tell people this, and you know, especially the guys on the show, they're like, "Whoa, man, they're not doing nothing." I mean, last year that they had a subpar running game. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was like, you know, okay.
Yeah.
And we had to pay Pollard, you know, the what do you call it? The franchise tag and pay him. And I'm glad they got rid of him because he hasn't looked the same. I don't think he's a guy that has to have. He's like a 1-2 punch guy. He has to be that second punch. He's not a full-time running back. So I mean, I'm glad. I'm okay getting rid of him. I think Zeke coming back is going to give us some good short yardage stuff. He's good in the pass. You know, playing in the passing game, protecting the quarterback. Rico Dowdle is not bad. We'll see how Deuce Vaughn does his second year. He's a little small. He reminds me of Aaron. What's his name? Sproles. He reminds me a little bit of him. We'll see how he does. I thought they would give him more time. Malik Davis is not bad. I think Malik Davis and Rico Dowdle are about the same kind of guy. They're just one's a little bigger than the other, one's a little faster than the other. So we'll see what happens. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, they already talked about in training camp they're going to be running back by committee. So they're not going to give Zeke, you know, he's not going to be like the number one guy getting 25, 30 carries. You know, they're all going to get about 5 to 10 carries depending on who's hot that day. And we'll see. We'll go from there. I mean, we didn't have a great running game last year, and we were like top 5 offense. You know, so I mean, we don't necessarily need a strong running game, but we do need that guy who can give you short yardage, who can give you, you know, maybe a push at the goal line. We didn't have that, and I think Zeke gives us a little bit of that. He's a little better, you know, in the short yardage and around the goal line. So
I think so too. And it just depends on how much Zeke got left in the tank. You know, he's up there in the age now. One of those, especially for running back. You're talking about boxers in football. Running backs age probably the worst of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, unless your name's you know, Adrian. What's his name?
Yeah, Adrian sit out 2 years. Peterson.
Adrian Peterson, AP. Unless you're AP, you know, you age pretty well. But he's only 28. Zeke, to be fair, Zeke's 28. I mean, he might be an old 28. I don't know, but he's only 28, so he's getting there. I mean, usually when you get to 30, you know, you kind of age out as a running back in the league. But he's 28, so he might have a little left in the tank. We'll see what happens. I think he'll help us out in the pass game and some of that short yardage stuff, especially around the goal line. Tony was not good at that. He was not good at that short yardage stuff, and I think Zeke gives you a little more bang in that area. And at the very least, he can be a decoy, and people will try and stop him. And you know, you can bootleg and do a short pass, or you know, maybe that can bootleg and you know, run it in or something. But I think we're no worse than we were last year. That's what I think.
Yeah, true. Respectfully, in all sense of the words, because Mike McCarthy on down. Well, we're getting on closer to the conclusion here, big bro. But I got to have your last. There's one last topic I wanted to know. I've been going around the sports communities and getting everybody super early Super Bowl picks.
Oh Lord.
Who do you got? Because I've been hearing a lot of, everybody's on the Jets bandwagon. Whoever
The way too.
yeah,
Somebody picked
I've
the
seen a lot
Jets to the
of
Super Bowl.
yeah, a lot of people thinking the Jets because they Aaron Rodgers.
What?
They got the most prime time
Wow.
games. This is just
That's
the
crazy.
temperature in the room is the Jets. Everybody's going with, or the
Oh,
Chiefs,
wow.
of course. The Chiefs.
People are saying the Jets.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
This is the thing. No,
That's
it's kind of like
crazy.
it's like the video game team. You know what I mean? Everybody likes the new video game team. So
I mean, I like the Jets to get about 10 games, but the Super Bowl, man.
yeah, no,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, you want me to give me yours? Are you going to give me yours?
Yeah, of course. So I believe in the three-peat. I believe that the Chiefs can get it. If they don't get it, then Mr. Cool from Joe Burrow, man, it's about time for him to get himself in the mix.
Okay.
If he knows it, if I either Patrick Mahomes, I think the only guy that's close to rivaling, you know what I mean, out of everybody that's available is Joe Burrow.
So you're a quarterback wins guy, huh?
Say it again.
You're a quarterback wins guy.
I only really believe in Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Every other team, as far as somebody that reminds me of the old era of the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings. A quarterback that can get you there. He's going to need a team, but need these only two guys that I think that can get their teams to the big game. Okay. Excuse me.
So you're picking the Chiefs, and then your caveat is the Bengals, I guess.
Yes, sir. And as far as the NFC, who's going to be there? My Packers. You know what I mean? Of course. Is
that your caveat, or is that your actual pick?
That's my every year go Pack go.
You're Omar. You're like the Celtics guy.
Yeah. Myself in the same green, Packer green, Celtic green.
You're in the green and orange cloud, green and yellow clouds or whatever.
Hey, salute to the SP.
So you really believe that?
What is the three-peat?
The Packers.
Oh yeah. Now here's my take on our Packers. Is that last year? Now,
did you say that last year too?
No. This is the thing. Okay. We got hot in the last 5-6 weeks of the season, and that was without our guy Jair Alexander, who I'm a big
Lions
fan.
Still in y'all's conference?
Yes, the Lions are. Yeah.
Oh, okay, they're still there. Okay.
But the thing about the Lions is that it's like your little brother. Even when your little brother hits the gym, it's like whenever you're ready, bro.
Okay. I see how you are. Okay.
Because you did a couple push-ups.
You have a caveat besides the Packers? You have a caveat?
Coming out of the NFC.
If it wasn't your Packers?
I would like to go with the Lions, but it's another team that I was thinking about. 49ers.
Okay.
I got believe. I think they like the Boston Celtics, where they're gonna keep getting there, and eventually they'll get over the hump.
Okay, that's fair.
Eventually.
Okay. Way too early. Oh man, I hate these way too earlys, man. But that's fair. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say the Chiefs. They have a lot of motivation, to be the first team to kind of get a three-peat. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of because after you win a 2 or even after you win a Super Bowl, you kind of lose that motivation. But now that they won that second one, and they were actually considered having a down year, especially on offense, wide receivers were dropping balls. They have the most drop balls of any team, and so I think this year that's going to bounce back a little bit. It's not going to be as bad, and so I feel like no one's going to really challenge them in the division. Maybe the Chargers are a little better with Harbaugh, but the other two teams aren't going to really challenge them. Even though Jake, I don't know if you heard, he said Denver's going to win 12 games this year.
So, Jake should get into comedy, man.
I know, man.
He's a funny guy.
I know. 12 games. I'm like, are you serious? So I made a bet with him. I said, once we know Denver's not winning 12 games, in other words, they got they don't have enough games left to get to 12. I said, you're going to wear cowboy gear all year, the rest of the year.
Oh, I like that.
If they don't get to 12 games on, he's like, yeah, he took the easy. He's got a lot of confidence. I don't know why, but he's got a lot of confidence. But anyway, he calls him Bo Nix the Fix.
Yeah, Bo Nix the Fix.
Yeah, Nix the Fix, man.
Okay, hey, that's the way you get behind your guy. You want to get behind your guy.
Yeah.
Come
Uh,
on.
I, I like the Chiefs. I guess my contingency on the in the AFC would probably be, man. I'm gonna say Baltimore. I'm saying they finally get
Mm,
over the hump. I was gonna say they
mm,
finally get over the hump. Uh, and I don't know. Part of me, Joe Burrow, he's been hurt 2 out of 4 years. I mean, that's
yeah,
not good.
yeah,
He's been injured and out. I don't trust his health. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I trust him to stay healthy all year. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna say Baltimore as my contingency, if not the Chiefs. In the NFC, I want to say the Cowboys. My heart says the Cowboys, but I can't say the Cowboys because I mean I can't honestly say I think we're gonna go that far. Uh, I'm gonna be rooting for us to go that far, right? I mean, but
Right.
I mean, I like your. I don't. I'm not mad at your Packers pick. I think that's not a bad pick. Um, Man, it's kind of a hodgepodge. I think,
Yeah, in the
man,
NFC.
yeah. I mean, because you got a lot of kind of so-so teams. I think the Niners window was last year. I think it's going to start to close this year, like the Bills did last year. I
Yeah.
think the Niners window is going to start to close this year. I think they'll still be a playoff team. They're not going to miss the playoffs. I think the Rams are going to challenge them for that, and I think
Mm,
Arizona's going to be better with Kyler being healthy. So I
mm,
think that's going to be a tough division for them. I don't think they'll get quite 12 games. So I think the Rams will challenge them for that NFC West.
I like that.
I think Tampa Bay will probably still win the South, but I think Atlanta with Kirk Cousins could challenge them for that.
Yeah.
And you and Detroit, Packers and Detroit, man, I think Detroit will take a step back, and I think you guys will take a step forward. It's going to come up probably to that last week or two, I think,
Yeah.
of the season to win the North for you guys. And then us in Philly, I think, will challenge each other. Washington's going to make a push in there, I think. They might be challenging for second place, maybe challenging whoever's in first place there. So I'm gonna have to go. Shoot, I'm gonna go Rams.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go
Okay.
Rams. I like the
Oh,
Rams. I mean, I like them to bounce back. I think they, Aaron Donald's gone, but they kind of filled some of those holes.
yeah.
I like Matthew Stafford being healthy. I think Cooper Kupp was coming off an injury. You know how you come off those bad injuries. It takes you a
Yeah.
whole year to kind of get back. So I think Cooper Kupp's going to be back to form, and then they're going to have Puka Nacua that kind of came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
drafted Blake Corum. He's a solid running back, a solid kind of your change up back
Yeah.
as a rookie. And I think they're going to be solid on offense, and I think their defense is going to be better than last year. They got some good defensive linemen. They fill a few holes there in the draft. So I think they're going to challenge San Francisco. I'm going to go the Rams, and my contingency, I'm going to say the Packers. I'm going to
Okay.
go with your Packers as a contingency, or my caveat that the Packers might. I don't know. I'm not sure about Jordan Love. I feel like he's going to take a step back, but I don't know. I mean, it's his first
Hey.
year, sophomore
Hey.
sophomore slump. That sophomore slump always happens, man. I'm telling you, it's for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
And
That's
so that's what I'm afraid of. You get a good year of tape on a guy, and then they work on the things that they key in on his weaknesses, and let's
mm-hmm.
see how he overcomes that. So it all depends on how he overcomes people keying in on him and making him do things he doesn't feel comfortable with, and seeing how he adjusts to what defenses are giving him and showing him. And so
I
we'll see
agree.
what happens. So that's why I'm gonna go Rams, Chiefs.
I agree with that. I like
That's
that.
too early. It's too early, but that's what I'm going with.
That's not bad at all. I was gonna say too, as far as segueing off your Rams, that Kyron Williams, their running back over there, man.
Oh
That
yeah, okay, yeah,
that kid in my fantasy football league, he was running me into some victories. I'm talking about big games. So
right,
he,
right,
he can follow between him and Puka, and of course their additions, and Matt Stafford, the wily veteran, still in there as
right.
well.
Blake Corum is going to be good for them too.
I think
I'm
Blake
telling you, he's
Blake
going to be a
Corum
good change up guy for him.
coming from a
He's
championship program too.
right,
A lot of
right. He's going to
people.
be a solid for them.
I agree.
I think their offense is going to be solid. The defense is going to be a little shakier, but I think
Yeah,
because their offense is going to be full strength, that's going to carry them a little more.
yeah,
And
I
I
agree.
think Puka's going to even take another step forward. And I think Cooper Kupp is finally healthy.
Hmm.
After he was coming back off injury last year, and I just don't think he was quite himself, and I think he'll be himself this year. And
I
so
agree.
I just think they're gonna have a 49ers are going to have a tough time with the Rams. We'll see what happens. They may still win that division, but it's going to be way tougher. It's going to be nip and tuck to win that division.
I agree.
Okay.
See, my big boy, our big bro, real good. Just updating us on the basketball.
Oh, okay.
But man,
who you got tonight? Who you got tonight? Man?
I would love that. I want the Mavs to close out this series, man.
Okay. You're rooting for the Mavs.
I want Denver and Dallas. I want Luka and Joker to go at it finally.
Oh, okay. Go at it, huh?
I want that.
Okay.
But
I think Thunder's going to pull it out and go to Game 7. I think that's what's going to happen.
You know, my if I had to put money on the game, that's what I would say too, bro. It's gonna go on.
You're rooting for the Mavs, close them out. It could be. It's gonna be a good. Looks like it's gonna be a good game. It's close. It's tight right now. So
yeah. It's 25-21.
That's what I got.
But I was gonna say, big bro, man, I think this show is a classic, man. We did a lot of work right now.
We did got a lot of stuff in. I didn't think we were gonna get it all in.
But you got any last plugs for the people? Let them know where they can find you.
Just find us at The Bottom Line Sports. The Bottom Line Sports on all your platforms, YouTube, X. We'll come on Instagram too under my name, Albert Flores, or you can find it on under Albert Flores under my profile on Facebook. I put the shows live on any of those platforms, and we also come on Ball and Buds on YouTube and Let's Talk Sports on YouTube. And so we're on all kinds of stations, usually simulcast, I guess what they call it, on like 7-8 platforms. And so just go catch us. Our biggest following is on Facebook, 1,625 members on the Facebook group. So growing and growing, trying to get to 17. Canteen wants 2,000 by football season. So that's what we're shooting for, 2,000 by football season. So let's do that. Go find us at The Bottom Line Sports. Appreciate you, Tony, Lee Savant. Appreciate all your knowledge and all your inviting me on the show.
Hey, thank you, Flo, and I appreciate that, big bro. We're gonna have to do this again, especially during that football season. I'm sure our team, them Packers and Cowboys, gonna find a way to find each other in the playoffs.
Somewhere, they will. I bet we're gonna meet up somewhere in the playoffs. I feel it.
Hey, if we can, we're gonna have to stream that game and call it, just to get that real-time emotion.
Oh man, don't do it, man. I never done that. That might be too much emotion for me, man. I get emotional, man. Woo.
If my team starts losing, I'll just click out. I'm like,
no, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. No, we gotta make a deal. You can't click out. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, right?
Yeah, I can do it. Right? We'll set that up for sure.
Woo, and you better not lose.
I know, right?
I'm beyond you, man.
I'm always nervous, man. I don't count my wins until we get it.
I know how you feel, man. I know how you feel.
But thank you again, big bro, man. And that's all we got for y'all. Thank y'all for pulling up, Ball and Bud Sports, man. Down.
I used to get confused too.
Yeah, I was like the bees for me. It's the bees.
Yeah, I used to get Ball and Buds. I used to say it wrong like the first 6 shows.
Ball and Buds.
Now I got it. Ball and Buds. I'm good now. But yeah, it used to confuse me all the time.
Yeah, that's my brother. Shout out to the sports
professor. Shout out to sports professor.
Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, not just here on this platform, but also the Bottom Line Sports. That's all we have for y'all on this one. Peace. If the stream would, there we go.